Hey guys, it's Tammy. Welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we're going to be testing some new products, two main products in particular. So first of all, I have the new Morphe Filter Effect Soft Focus Foundation. These boxes are big, but this is the PR box. And then I also got the new Urban Decay Wild West collection. So, well, it's a palette, but they sent it with an eye primer and a mascara. So Makeup Shayla is on the inside of the PR package, and they also tell you what shade she's wearing. She's wearing the shade Filter Rich 26, which I actually have in here. So these are the three shades that I have. There's also a foundation brush and a sponge. I'm gonna go ahead and apply it with a brush because that's how I typically apply my foundations. The sponge does feel really soft. It almost feels like that microfiber sponge. What was it called? By Juno. So this is what the foundation looks like. It comes in a frosted glass bottle, and then it has a black cap, and once you take the cap off, it does have a pump. So here's the three shades that I have. This is Filter Rich 25, Filter Rich 26, and Filter Rich 27. 26 is the one that Makeup Shayla wears. I think I'm gonna go for 25. Here we go. So we've got some claims about the foundation. It says Filter Effect Soft Focus Foundation, an oil-free skincare infused foundation that delivers a natural finish for healthy looking skin. Hyaluronic acid boosts moisture levels, and vitamin E delivers antioxidant protection. Pore blurring pigments diffuse the look of imperfections. Natural buildable coverage, long wearing, sweat proof and transfer proof, free of oils, fragrances and parabens. Luxe formula created in Italy, available in 40 shades for $20, 18 pounds, 22 euros, 27 Canadian dollars and 30 Australian dollars. Just so you guys know, I do have an oily skin type. I will keep testing this over the next few days. I'm not going to do a wear test today. I just can't be bothered, but I'm going to keep testing it and get back to you guys, so make sure you're subscribed. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and take one pump of the foundation, which is actually a very generous pump. And I'm just gonna begin dotting that. That shade looks perfect around my face. I hope it's not getting too dark in here, because all of a sudden a really dark cloud has decided to come and block my lighting. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this foundation brush, which is actually a really interesting shape. It's like flat but fluffy on this side. Like, can you guys see? It's flat one side but then fluffy on this side, and it's kind of angled as well. So it should be really good to kind of put that foundation or blend that foundation in. Feels really nice and soft on the skin. The foundation is blending in nicely. So far, it's definitely a medium coverage because you can still see a little bit of my blemishes through the foundation. I can already tell I am going to need an extra pump because it's kind of not covering all of my face just yet. So this is one layer of the foundation. This is how we are looking. I definitely think I'm gonna, okay, it's getting really dark outside. Like, there is one big black cloud just blocking. I did go ahead and invest in a zoom lens, which cost me a pretty penny, but here we are. Better quality for you guys, hopefully. So this is how it's looking so far on my skin. Medium coverage. It's even to my skin tone. To be honest with you, it doesn't look like anything is even on my skin. If you are into like a lightweight, medium, everyday type of foundation, this actually would be perfect. I am going to build it up with another layer of foundation just to see if we can build it up, but yeah, this is how one layer is looking. I'm going to go ahead and turn my studio lights on, and then I'll come back so we can do another layer. So I'm just going to kind of dot that on my cheek areas. So I'm going to take the brush and kind of pat that in and see if we can build up this coverage a little bit. So it definitely is covering more. I do really enjoy this brush. I feel like it's perfect, like the perfect shape and the perfect kind of foundation brush. And it's a very unique brush as well. I don't have anything like this or shaped like this in my collection. So now this is how it looks with two pumps of the foundation all over the face. It definitely has built up to now a strong medium, if not full coverage. Of course, I do have a couple breakouts going on here, but as for the dark hyperpigmentation, you can't see it as much. I can't see it in the mirror. Just based on the finish at the moment, it won't be a foundation that I will go towards in the summer just because it is so glowy and I have oily skin. But at the moment, with it being winter and my skin being drier than normal, I can make this swing, I can make this work. But yeah guys, this is how we are looking. What do you think? I feel like this is very different to their other foundation, which if you were not a fan of the matte full coverage effect of that, you might really enjoy this, especially at the price point of what, £18 was it? It's not drugstore, but it's definitely not like high-end £30 NARS foundation, if that makes sense. But yeah, now we're gonna go ahead and test the Urban Decay Wild West palette, which looks like this. The packaging of this is such a gorgeous print, like this snake print I'm here for. And on the PR package it said that this is their first vegan naked palette, so let me read about the palette for you guys. It says, introducing our first vegan naked eyeshadow palette. We've rounded up a winning mix of matte, satin, metallic and shimmer shades for every mood under the western sun. Saddle up with 12 ultra rich pigments in just one palette. So this is what the palette looks like, and here is the back. And then this is the inside palette. I love that snake print, honestly. Oh, and the brush just dropped. And here we have, oh, my camera's not focusing, really? There we go. So this is the inside of the palette. So first of all, I'm gonna prime with my P. Louise eyeshadow base as usual. I'm gonna do two different eye looks so we can see what type of vibes we can get from this palette. I do really like the looks of these deeper tones down here, like these two warm tone browns, this dark green. I'm gonna start with Ghost Town, which is actually this orange terracotta. That's funny, that's called Ghost Town. You would think one of these would be called Ghost Town, but anyway. Ooh, that looks pigmented. I'm gonna take that into the crease. That definitely is pigment. Okay, so it's definitely getting darker in the crease. It might be one of those palettes that you need to start with the lighter shade and blend it into something else. So what I'm gonna do is dip into Spur, which is this bone beige color, and this I'm gonna put up by the brow bone to kind of be our transition color. That's what this palette I feel like is missing. Transition colors, because there's light colors and then there's dark colors. Do you know what I mean? There's no mid-tones, but I suppose with only 12 pans there's only so much you can do. But I'm gonna put this down as my brow bone transition color. So now going back in with Ghost Town, which is very pigmented. Yeah, I definitely feel like it needed that base color or that transition color to blend into so that it doesn't stick to the primer. That's blending nicely now. So I'm going to go into the shade next to it, which is called Whiskey, which is an even darker brown. Just going to take a little bit of this to deepen the outer V. Wow, that almost looks like a black. They're coming off so much darker. It's like they oxidize, that's the right word. They go on lighter and then they turn darker. I think I want to carry a little bit of that Whiskey through the crease as well, just to deepen that area a little bit more. Okay, so this is how we are looking so far with the two browns. I mean, not bad. They have blended really well. They are definitely very pigmented. So I think I'm going to go in with the shade Bud, which is this mint green in the palette. So I'm going to take the NYX glitter glue and just dab it all over the lid. I'm going to pick up the shimmer and dab it on. It's a nice greeny colour. I do think more of a forest green when I think of Wild West. This is definitely giving me like aqua vibes. I'm not in love with that shimmer. I feel like maybe it's a satin finish. It's not like shimmering, you know what I mean? And then on the inner corner, I'm going to take a little bit of Cowboy Rick, the silver. So yeah, that is the eye look. I mean, it's a neutral eye with a pop of colour, and I feel like that's what their naked line is all about, neutrals with a pop of colour. So I've definitely achieved that, but there's nothing about the quality that is out of this world amazing. And this Morphe foundation has not dried down at all. It's definitely still glowy, dewy, more luminous glowy than natural finish in my opinion. I think of natural to be like halfway between a glowy and a matte, but this is definitely very luminous glowy. So what I'm going to do once again is take that Spur shade and kind of set that concealer. Since the mattes are so pigmented, it just gives the matte something to blend into. So there is use for this shade after all. So what I'm going to do is actually go in with Laredo, which is this mid-tone mauvey grey. And this I'm going to pop straight into the crease. And I always say this, but this is not my good blending eye. Like, it's so awkward for me to get my hand to blend right on this side of my face. If the blending don't look right, it's the eyeshadow, not me. So now I'm going to go into this shade right here, which I think is the darkest shade in the palette, and it's called Tex. It's like a dark, I hope it doesn't just come off black on the eyes, but it looks like a dark forest green with a slight teal undertone. So I'm going to take a little bit of that and put that on the outer V. Yeah, it's not blending into a black, which is great. It's keeping that green undertone. I'm going to carry that kind of halfway through the crease as well. Actually, I might go in with a tiny dip of the shade next to it, which is Pony Up, that dark grey, and put this through the crease as well. Just a little bit of it to darken. Oh, I like this dark smoky side. When I wear cool tones or when I wear greys, this is how I prefer to wear it, like dark and smoky. I like the darkness and the depth of that colour. I just want to take a little tiny dab of it. I know it will add a little bit of depth in this corner right here. Yeah, that's already made this side 10 times better in my opinion. I do really enjoy having a dark, deep outer V. So now let me go ahead and put a shimmer all over this side. I think I'm gonna go for the gold, which is called Hold'em. This gold here, it reminds me of that gold in their Naked palette. What was it called? Half Baked. So I'm taking the NYX glitter glue all over the lid. So I'm actually taking the dark grey, which is called Pony Up, to blend into the gold. So here's how we're looking so far. You know, things will come together once we get lashes and lower lash line on, but I'm actually thoroughly enjoying this eye look so far. Let me go ahead and finish up the rest of my face. I'm probably not going to talk through this part, but I will include the clips, and yeah. So I'm going to go in with my concealer. I'm using my Jewellery Essential High Coverage Concealer, which is part of my Project Pan. You guys, I'm going hard for this Project Pan. I am being dedicated. Then I'm just going to go ahead and blend out the edges with this foundation brush, which is actually amazing. I love it. It does come free if you buy the foundation on Ulta. So yeah, that's great. Going to go ahead and set underneath my eyes with my Vichy Dermablend powder, which is also part of my Project Pan, and I'm also going to use that same powder to set on the outside of my face because I find that this foundation is very glowy and luminous, and I definitely find it is a foundation that I have to set. Taking the Too Faced Killer Liner Pencil, I think this is Killer Teal or Killer Turquoise, and I'm going to go ahead and buff out the same colours on my lower lash line that I used in my crease, add some lashes. Now for lips, I'm taking the Morphe lip liner in the shade Trendsetter and a Urban Decay lipstick in the shade, I think it's called Insanity. Then I'm going to top it with one of my favorite glosses, which is the Shiseido Crystal Clear Gel Gloss. Absolutely beautiful clear gloss, and this is the finished look, guys. Here we are up close and personal, so you guys can see the details of the skin, the eyes, everything. So my mic wasn't plugged in for my outro, which is annoying, but basically I'm saying I really like the dark teal side the most. As for my first impressions on the Morphe foundation, I definitely think it's a foundation geared towards normal to dry skin. It's not one that oily skin babes like myself is going to love or gravitate towards. It's not going to last that long on our skin. It will just kind of become very dewy, very luminous very quickly. But if you are normal to dry skin, it's very weightless on the face. The coverage is medium buildable. You can kind of sheer it out to be a nice wash of color. It is a good foundation, just not for my skin. Now, as for the Urban Decay Naked Wild West palette, as much as I love the eye looks that I have achieved with this palette, I feel like it is that dark teal that is carrying this whole palette, because there's nothing really special about the other colors. Even the shimmers are quite mediocre. I feel like they could have been more metallic, more foiled, more pigmented, more creamy. They could have just been better. So I personally don't think it's worth the £45. As much as I love the eye looks that I've got today, I just don't feel like the quality is worth the price. As much as I love Urban Decay because they hold like a nostalgic place in my heart, I feel like nowadays there's just better palettes that you can get for £45 in my opinion. But yeah, those are my thoughts, guys. Let me know yours down below. Give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel, and I'll catch you guys in my next one. Take care. Bye.